Hey everybody, this is Gem Queen, aka Game Show Guru 84. I wanted to do one of my rants on a video game that really tested me beyond words. The game is Dragon Quest VIII: The Curse of the Troll King on PlayStation 2. This is going to be a few parts since I only get a few times in recording, so this will be a long rant. There is so much in this game that has tested me beyond words. This game took me 6 years to complete. And here's why it took me 6 years to complete. Number one, you take forever to get to level 99. As soon as you hit level 30, you might as well just restart it, because there's no point of you leveling up any farther. It'll take you weeks to level up. Half the enemies can kill you instantly by death spells. You have a very small, repeat those words, very small chance that you can survive a death spell. 2, you need mostly a lot of gold to get the last weapons and armors, because most of the last and final armors in most genres of the categories you can't create in alchemy. 3, there's a lot of things you have to explore. Okay, because you go by land, by air, you go by land, by air, by sea, and a lot of movement is going to drive you almost crazy. There's a very small chance that you'll actually gain a lot of cash, because for a lot of purposes you need a lot of good weapons and good armors, because a lot of those armors aren't going to protect you. And the main reason why it took me this long is that, of course, it takes a long time to get past half the enemies, because when you get down to boss battles, plus going farther down in the game, when you get close to the last area, the Black Citadel, then the game starts to become very long and frustrating. Well, for people who haven't played this game, I'm warning anyone who does want to play this game. Here are my warnings of this nightmare. When you start the game, you start out with your two characters. Okay, your main character, known as Hero, or you can change your character's name, you don't have to keep it as is, and Yangus. What Hero and Yangus mostly did was they actually saw what happened to Castle Trodain. Castle Trodain was mostly inflicted by a spell that turned into vines. You will see that later on in the game, when you actually go into the Trodain territory, so you get to see what in the world happened. The story begins with a magical jester known as Dulmagus. He created a spell to dethrone King Trodain, but what happened was that he turned into a toad, okay, or a troll, as they know him as Troldane. You start out mostly at your campsite, almost near the first village that you go to. You fight off just an easy amount of slimes, and mostly you go down to your first, town or village. So mostly what you do is you go through a long little cutscene, which starts to become just about as frustrating and irritating. But what my word of suggestion, if you want to play this game, you need the book for a reason. The reason that I suggest the book to any of you gamers out there is for the alchemy reasons only. That's the only time I use the book. For the other reasons, the book won't help you with the map. As long as you know where you're going, I think the map is just as useless. But for a while, you're going to need that alchemy part more than ever, because if you go through every single town, village, or library, everywhere in that whole entire world, in the game world, you will never find all of those recipes. I've checked. About maybe 30% of the book is not even found in any of those books that you look in libraries in every town and village, or even every home that you find. So my main suggestion for the book is for the alchemy purpose only. That's the only reason. You don't get the other two characters until later on in the story. The other two characters are Jessica, a mage, who mostly that Dulmagus killed her parents, and Angelo, who actually became an what we say, a knight who worked in an abbey or a church. So he was a church knight. Well, Dominguez actually attacked the abbey down there, and you protected him. So they became part. So those are your teammates. Your main character, Yangus, Jessica, and Angelo. The only problem that you're going to have is non-stop battles, because alchemy is going to take forever depending on what item you make, or I would say rarity, depending on what you use or create. If it's a weapon or an armor, you will take about close to maybe up to 24 hours, maybe less than that. But for other reasons, it's just battle after battle after battle after battle after battle. This will start to get a little boring. But don't get me wrong, Dragon Quest VIII has good graphics and a great storyline. The only problem that I suggest that I would tell most people is, if you have the patience for this game, trust me, this game will take a long, long time. You need the right skills, you need the right weapons, the right armors for all four of your characters, and follow the story perfectly. Because I'll tell you this right now, for one major problem to get the last weapons and armors, it will take you 16.5 million gold coins to get these last weapons and armor in the Casino of Baccarat. So this means battling your heart out, saving all of your tokens, going all the way down to Pick'em region to actually exchange your gold for those tokens and save your life. That's the only way. That's the longest you're going to have to suffer. It may be frustrating and it may be furious, but that's the only way you're going to survive. Because you won't get most of these items until you get later on in the game. Much later on in the game. I mean, it's a long, long game. It really is. This is a long game. So, for all people out there who despise this game, get comfy, because this is going to be a long rant. There's many things wrong in this game. Many things wrong. I mean, you got so much baggage you got to carry in this game. See, if they followed it like Final Fantasy X or X-2, they would have succeeded in this game. I mean, when you got so much baggage to carry with all these, characters that you have in tow, alchemy, getting gold, saving, your tokens for, items that you can use, and so on and so forth. It's a long, tedious game. It's really what I would consider the most disappointing game I've ever seen in PlayStation 2 history. I mean, it's not really what I would consider a good game. I consider it disappointing. Because when you battle till you can't breathe, it starts to become boring. I mean, I've got ADD myself, and I have ADHD as well. But I can play like Borderlands and, all the other games that I've known from the past and really get into it because it doesn't take forever to level up. Dragon Quest VIII does. I mean, as soon as I got to level 33, I was like 1/3 up there with all four of my characters. And the problem is, even just fighting the basic enemies that you fight at the basic level, you're going to take forever to level up. And also, money is scarce. Most of the boss battles are long and hard. I mean, even at, designated levels. The reason why I say this is because you really got to, do it the hard way, because buying your weapons and your armors that you have to normally get are just as, difficult and frustrating. I mean, it is challenging when you look at it from the book's point of view, but when you, have to buy them or you have to make them, it becomes a little bit of a, of a struggle. Items you can't get until much later on in the story, or you either have to buy them or you have to find them from either enemies they have to drop, which your drop rate is very, very low. No, it is. It's very low. Your drop rate in just the beginning is at 1%, if you're lucky. and most of the early enemies that you fight are the one item that you really sort of want at an early level, but not like, you know, later on. Medicinal herbs. Medicinal herbs are, you know, your potions, okay? And there's all different types of items that I'll, you know, describe. But in my opinion, like I said, most of the items are, you know, most of the weapons don't do much of help, or most of the armors can be dangerous to, you know, to you more than the enemy. You know, in layman's terms, they can curse you, they can block your own spells, or so on and so forth. So mostly it's kind of a frustrating thing. They become jinxed, and mostly they can't be created, or even if you find them, you know, it might be worth, you know, the extra points to save yourself for protection, but it's not worth the big long fight. The only reason why I hate this game is it takes a long, long, long time. And like I said, gold is scarce. When all, you know, if all of you croak, here's one big problem. The problem is that you lose half of what you already have in your gold pouch, and you go back to the closest church or town, or a town that has said church, and that's where you go back to. Only your main character goes back to being alive, but the rest of you are still dead in your coffins. Which means you have to sacrifice the rest of your gold to save all of the rest of your characters until you have the said money. And each time this keeps going on, guess what that means? Now you have to pay more and more and more to get your characters back revived. So that means either restart the game or be stuck with one character as far, far behind in level to revive them, because they stay in a coffin for a long time, and you might need them for a lot of things. I mean, I took a long time to get most of everything. I mean, because I had to level up. Like, I mean, the farthest I did get to level 99 after the 6th year, because as soon as you get to level 99, I think that was the only time I got past the Black Citadel without any problem. But it's a very, very long game because of leveling up problems, you know, and the gold problems. Yes, and I know that Dragon Warrior did this in their early games in Nintendo, but I think it's technically not what I would consider a good game. Dragon Quest IX, you know, figured out these improved the problems in a good way. Alchemy is not in it, thank God. You can switch all your jobs like in Final Fantasy III, and many other things that improved what Dragon Quest VIII didn't do. And I hope that they do make a Dragon Quest X or an anniversary collection of the original Dragon Warrior games anytime soon. Well, this is part one of my, you know, Dragon Quest VIII rant, but I'm going to make another one probably tomorrow or another day sometime soon. But I hope everyone enjoyed this little rant about the gameplay and a few other things. I hope everyone has a great summer. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel, please. I thank everybody here. Bye-bye.